At the height of the Cold War, the wrong phone rang, and the resulting confusion created an American holiday tradition. Welcome to American Esoterica. If history class gives you the mistletoe, this is the awkward moment with the coworker. The essential stuff in between. The personalities, events, and other ephemera that shape our history and culture. I'm Brian Powers. There are two versions of the story, one more likely than the other, but we're going to go with the more adorable one first. It was Christmas Eve of 1955, with the Cold War in full swing, and Colonel Harry Shoup had two phones on his desk, one white and one red. The commander of the Operations Center at Continental Air Defense Command, or CONAD, Colonel Shoup did not expect the red phone to ring, but on that December day, it did. He answered the call, expecting to hear from a four-star general in the Pentagon, but what he heard instead was a small child asking to speak to Santa Claus. At first, he thought it was a prank by one of the airmen in his command, but it soon became evident that he was on the phone with an actual child, and he dutifully responded as the man himself. When the call was through, he asked to speak to the child's mother, who helped clear up the source of the confusion. Sears had run an ad in the local paper with a phone number for kids to call Santa, only they had misprinted the number, which led to confusion. As more and more calls came in, Colonel Shoup assigned members of his team to answer the phones and provide information on Santa's whereabouts. Later, as he entered the room, Colonel Shoup noticed that some enterprising airmen had added a small sleigh and reindeer to a board that tracked unidentified aircraft, and that prompted him to call the local radio station to inform them that CONAD was tracking Santa and would give updates on his progress, thus kicking off an annual tradition that continued when CONAD became NORAD 3 years later. It's an adorable tale, still repeated by his now very grown children, and it bears the hallmarks of the story the way Colonel Shoup embellished it and told it himself later on. Problem is, it likely didn't happen that way. So let's go back. It's November 30th, 1955, and a non-red phone somewhere in CONAD rings. There is a little kid on the other end, but instead of gamely playing along, Colonel Shoup is quoted as saying, "There may be a guy called Santa Claus at the North Pole, but he's not the one I'm worried about coming from that direction." That's from a newspaper account in the Pasadena Independent from December 1st, 1955. The child in question was trying to dial the Sears Santa line, but wound up mixing up two of the digits and getting CONAD instead. The latter half of the fanciful version of the story is partially true. After witnessing the sleigh added to the board of unidentified aircraft, Colonel Shoup summoned his PR officer and had him work up a press release for the wire services, which read, "CONAD, Army, Navy, and Marine Air Forces will continue to track and guard Santa in his sleigh on his trip to and from the U.S. against possible attack from those who do not believe in Christmas." It was a brilliant PR move that showcased the capabilities of CONAD, which struggled to explain its role in domestic defense. Thus began an annual tradition that continues to this day. The Santa tracking service became Colonel Shoup's public legacy, and his children noted that he would carry around letters from kids all over the world who thanked him for the valuable service. That service has taken on a more modern bent in recent years, where kids can either go online to a Santa tracking website or call in on Christmas Eve and get an actual person to speak with. And if talking to a real live person when you call an organization on the phone isn't a Christmas miracle, I don't know what is. This has been American Esoterica. All sounds were made by me, Brian Powers. Did I get it wrong? Did I get it right? Just want to talk about whether or not you count 8 or 9 tiny reindeer? Drop me a note. The address is yell@americanesoterica.com. Thank you for listening, and God bless America.